Well, I've been watching Big Bang Theory again, and Leonard goes to meet his old high school bully. And the bully only got in contact with him because he thought he had an invention that they could figure out. And that is glasses that turn any movie into 3D. Um, I watched this like 3 a.m. this morning. I was just laying there. And I was like, I wonder if I can figure that out. And I think I figured it out. So, how does our brain translate information from light into depth? Well, our eyes have cones and rods. And so, the cones perceive different wavelengths, which is color. And the rods are basically exposure. And, but how could you make glasses that turn any movie into 3D? It's crazy, right? Except, something that is farther away takes longer to get to your eye. Right? When it reflects light, right? So, I guess I'm too stupid doing this, right? Hopefully I won't sound too dumb. Well, I was thinking, if we had a monoporous first layer of glass, not monoporous, what am I saying? A very microporous layer of glass that could filter out different wavelengths. And so, light density that is reflected from an object closer to you is higher than light that is directed at you from farther away. And so, that's like amplitude. And if you could refract the darker shades, they're going to have to travel a longer distance. So as it hits the lens, darker light is refracted and then refocused. So that's taking a curve. While light that's closer to you, it's not resisted for the sake of the argument here. And obviously I can't get this thing to work. I could never design this. I don't know enough about lenses. But when you look at a bottle of water, one of those smooth plastic ones, and it's like a lens, so it takes the image and it warps it around the outside of it and makes it come closer and farther. So how could you use like a tiny little nano structure of cones and rods to mimic what our eyes do? And like you'd basically reverse them, I think. And that would take in the light, except it would take in the light that is then refracted and set on a longer path, which is a lower frequency or lower amplitude, I mean, because it had to travel longer distance anyway to get to your lenses to be refracted, where higher frequencies then, from closer objects that have higher amplitude or density of photons and wave structure, is then emitted, through the first filter. So you have 3 layers. Yeah, that's just the gist of what I've conceived so far, how it could work. But, because there's some people that don't have depth of view, or depth with their eyes. For me, 3D movies don't work. I see everything in 3D as in depth, like what people are supposed to see from 3D movies. That's how everything looks to me. Just fun. It was cool. It helps me paint. But then I know now that people won't see it. The images the same way that I see them. Because things don't actually come off the screen at them, unlike say if I'm looking at my face right now, my nose is actually coming closer to me than my face. And I think that's because I have one smaller eye than the other. This eye is smaller, and I believe they're kind of offset depth-wise from one another if you touch them. But that also has helped. And I try to consider this, but 3D movies don't work on me. It's really disappointing. And so, the only thing that works is the 3DS. The Nintendo little gaming device. That works because that actually creates basically three depths. And so, how could we turn glasses into that? That could turn basically any movie and the real world even. I mean, it could cure a lot of people that don't have depth of view. And interesting to think about. I forget what the word is. But where people can't focus at different distances to perceive depth. I'm not talking about nearsighted, farsighted. There's an actual word for it. Forget it. Too much shit to remember. Anyway, it's a cool idea. I mean, I don't know, how could you do that though? You have to. No, I was thinking like polarized nanocrystals that you could use to reflect light, like an LED in a way. And that would help create the depth too, because then they could work to detect the different amplitudes of wavelengths. And that would tell what photon, where, and how dense it is, or how much energy it's still carrying. We just don't really know if it's a field traveling as a wave of particles, or if it's particles that are traveling as a wave. I think that's everything.